My American voice?
What? You mean she's not Russian?
I
On AEW, I think people went, she's finally here.
was so excited to return to wrestling.
The work you've been doing in acting classes, I feel like it's paying off so much.
Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit more creative control because I love acting. I love storytelling.
You approach promos now almost like they're monologues.
I've noticed people don't do that. I like it better. I think it resonates with younger. And so I've been running with that.
What do you feel like you can do as CJ that you weren't able to do as Lana?
Talk fast.
Oh my goodness, CJ, so good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think we got to start off with this because there's going to be so many people that are watching this right now who have never heard you speak with your real voice before.
Wow. My American voice?
What? You mean she's not Russian?
I mean, I feel, I don't know. I guess it's definitely still comes out on social media. And I'm always like, I find it so fascinating because I haven't really been starting 2016. I started talking with my normal voice on Total Divas, which is a long time ago. And then in storyline with the Bobby Lashley story, I talked with no accent, and that was like really big. And that was 2019. And I'm like, wow, I guess they haven't been watching the product much. But anyways,
I think people,
I'm
they
sassy.
associate an idea with something and then that's it, as you know.
Totally.
But for
But
you
it's
to
like,
show up on AEW, I think people went, yes, oh my goodness, she's finally here.
thank you. I was really excited. I was so excited to return to wrestling, and especially in Chicago. I love Chicago. I actually debuted in WWE in Chicago. My first live promo was in Chicago at it was like March 2nd or 3rd. I can't remember the exact date, but it was the beginning of March. CM Punk had just left. So everyone's like, are you gonna be okay? They're gonna be CM Punk chant. And I feel like I held my own with Miro. And so then we did the first time that We Want Lana chants happened was in Chicago, and Miro came out. At the time he was Rusev, came out with a really bad Russian lawyer. And it was on my birthday, and they started chanting We Want Lana. So that was cool. And my official babyface turn happened there in WWE. So it was really cool to be able to have that special moment with AEW of debuting there, because I love Chicago and the fans have always rooted for me so much. So it's really awesome to be able to like have that special connection with them now with AEW as well.
I think it's so great that, wrestling fans call him Rusev and you say it with the accent. Like it's always Rusev to you.
Yeah, of course. It can't be Rusev.
That
Weird.
just doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth, at least.
It's like my last name, like our last name is Barnyashev, and my parents still can't say it. They're like Barnyashev. Guys, you grew up. We lived in Latvia.
Was it just like pure coincidence that you debuted in Chicago, or were you holding out? Like you saw that date on the calendar and you went, oh, Chicago, we've got this great history. It should happen there.
No, it definitely was not that way. It was all Tony Khan. Tony Khan wanted in Chicago. And when I heard he wanted the Chicago, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, because I love Chicago. It's my favorite American wrestling city. I mean, I say that about every city, but I like trying to find the silver lining of everything. So Miro was pushing a lot of this was his idea, and a lot of the story, and he wanted it to be in London, but Tony really had a vision for it to happen in Chicago, and he's from Chicago and loves Chicago. And so when I heard all that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, because he loves Chicago and I love Chicago. So here we go.
I think when people saw you, they were like, it's been so long, like finally she's here. Was there ever talk of you joining AEW around the time when Miro joined AEW?
Well, when Miro first joined AEW, I was still in WWE. So that was in 2020. And he started there September, I think. And so I was in WWE still, and I had a very lucrative contract. I was on TV every week. So we both thought it made sense for me to stay. And then I finished my time a year later, and Miro wanted me to come over to AEW, and he was plugging me in the story. And that's how I got the name Hot and Flexible. Him. So I needed a little bit of a break at the beginning. I wanted to be home for a little bit, and I wanted to do things. I didn't want to jump right back on the road. And so I took a little bit, like about a year, and I was just trying to figure out the time, like Tony Khan has great things going on in his show, and it's just, I had things going on, and Miro had things, and it's all about timing.
Yeah. What do you think's been the biggest thing that you've learned in the break that you took from wrestling, and now you're back in it? But what do you think's the biggest thing you learned during that break?
God, I've learned so much. I think the first like year and a half, I really was focusing of like just diving really back into Hollywood. And if it was taking just a lot of acting classes, producing classes, directing classes, writing classes, working on projects and producing projects, and just really diving into the distribution of film as well, of learning how movies are made, like the financing part of it all. And that changed my whole approach to the industry. Like, I think every talent should learn these things. It doesn't matter if you're an actor, wrestler, model, because you really start to understand someone has to sponsor this. Like, there has to be money. And when you start to think like, okay, someone is basically going out on the limb to invest in this. So everyone getting hired is like an investment to hopefully make money and return. Then you start to look at it differently, and it's not as personal. Like when you're like, oh, that person got the job. Okay, now it looks like stocks. You're like, okay, we have to cast this person as this lead because they're going to move the needle in action comedy. They're not going to move the needle in a drama, So like really learning that stuff, it's all formulas, and just like stocks, I really understood. I'm so thankful for it. And I would say the last 6 months has been a real more personal growth of mental health and emotional health. And I like in June, I think there was something that really happened in my personal life that I felt I learned so much in a couple of weeks that I was like, whoa, like I felt like I had plateaued. And then all of a sudden, just learning so much about emotional and mental health, relationship health. And I'm just so thankful. It's like sometimes we have to hit like really lows to all of a sudden have those major breakthroughs. And I just encourage everyone to keep like wanting to learn, like go on that hunt in life and that journey in life to constantly be educating yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's also the idea that like when you are at a low point, knowing that like there is light at the end of the tunnel, like this isn't it. It's going to get better.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a big thing that I learned was this too shall pass. And I saw on like maybe Instagram, something Tom Hanks was on.
Oh, that was so good. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter roundtable with all like the other, best actors ever.
Yes. And he said, what would you tell your younger self, or what do you want people to like, what's the best advice that you could give? And he's like, this too shall pass. And he's like, so when you're at those highs, remember, this too shall pass. At the lows, this too shall pass. And it really resonated with me because I was on a job, a really cool job that I can't say yet about. And it was really, Miro was on it. It was really freaking awesome job. And I was going through a very emotional low, mental health low. And I didn't think I would be able to get through it. And I remember seeing that, and Mandy texted me, and she was just like, just remind yourself, Mandy Sachs, also Mandy Rose, like, just remind yourself this too shall pass. And I kept on telling myself that, and it changed my life because you just know it will pass. And then at AEW, when I had my return and I'm feeling like so high, I just tell myself this too shall pass. And it helps me because I think as performers, all types of performers, we need things to ground us. So like, I don't want to be self-centered or egotistical, and as performers, you get all this high from like, especially the live energy. And I think it's really important to ground ourselves in remembering that we're not the center of the universe.
Man, I just don't feel like it. Maybe tomorrow. I'm just a little tired. All excuses for not working out. Look, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of fitness. I mean, you sleep better, you look better, you just feel better in general. But if you've been doing it for a while and you're sticking to that same routine, often you can just plateau. That's why this episode is brought to you by Fitbod. Keep your momentum going and your progress positive with Fitbod. This is the app that creates personalized workouts based on your goals, your abilities, and the setup that you have in your gym while helping you track and visualize your progress along the way. One of the best things about the app is it doesn't matter what kind of gym equipment you have. And I think that that's a big barrier of entry for a lot of people. They're like, I can't afford a gym membership, or I just don't feel comfortable going to the gym. It's okay, you can do this with a few kettlebells or a few dumbbells. They'll make a specialized workout just for you based on what you have. And it adjusts with your goals. So as you get stronger, Fitbod challenges you more to get even stronger. And it's never boring because it keeps your gym sessions fresh and fun by mixing up your workouts with new exercises, rep schemes, supersets, circuits, all of that. And you'll learn how to do things right with over 1,000 exercise demonstration videos. It has never been easier to get the results that you want. You're gonna love Fitbod. Go check it out at fitbod.me/insight. And when you use the code INSIGHT, you'll get 25% off. So that's Fitbod, fitbod.me/insight. The work you've been doing in acting classes and just learning about that business in general, I feel like it's paying off so much in your promos. I don't know if you've seen the feedback online, but that first promo that you cut as CJ in AEW, everyone said, this is her best promo she's ever done.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit more creative control, and I thank you so much because I love acting. I love storytelling. And I think in WWE, I often would just, for better or for worse, do what I'm told. I'm not the director or the showrunner. And so like sometimes people would want me a little more over the top or a little bit more annoying. And okay. And I feel like I did it very well. I was the annoying heel. And I don't think people realize, like, they're like, oh, she's so annoying. And they didn't really realize that that was a choice.
Yeah.
That's a choice to try to be that like egotistical, narcissistic character that thought everything's about her, and so that could be annoying. So I was really happy to be able to have something that I could be a little bit more grounded.
Yeah, I think of a lot of wrestlers approach promos as promos, and I might be wrong here, but it seems like you approach promos now like almost like they're monologues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely tried to approach all my work try to ground it. Like, it doesn't matter. I think that's probably why I could do really outlandish stuff in WWE, because I would always be like, okay, let me make this. Have I seen this situation in life? Like, let me ground it, at least in my own head. So, I just always ask the questions like, what would make me do this? What would make me be this way or act this way? But the biggest difference between now that I do in AEW that I did not do in WWE is the hardest thing is the live crowd part, because you if you go and you watch John Cena or The Rock or, a lot of WWE style promos, they are slower, especially live. They're slower. And it's because they're trying to get the whole arena to get as loud as possible. So it does make it a little bit more of a promo, like different type of flow. And I personally feel that style in WWE, that style promo or that type of slower pace matches is what is losing the younger demographic. And I think AEW has a faster pace match style, a faster pace promo style. It's very natural. It's very organic. It's not like, okay, let's stand here so the camera can pan to us. So now they can have a pop in the arena and now pan, and this is all very technical stuff, but people don't realize that's what makes those promos different. And so in AEW for, WWE, they're going to be like, CJ, you have to stand there. We're going to pan to you. You have to stand, give it 3, 4, 5 seconds. Now you talk. Now you have to make sure that you don't step over your pops or all those things. And AEW, he doesn't, I mean, I've noticed people don't do that. I like it better. I think it resonates with younger. And so I've been running with that.
What do you
So
feel like you can do as CJ that you weren't able to do as Lana?
talk fast, like what we're talking about.
I guess it's, I mean, it is a completely different character.
Yeah, I mean, it is for sure. I mean, yeah, just for sure. I would like to look at it as a different character because it's a different television show. And also just with everything, like you're not going to compare a CW Riverdale show to Grey's Anatomy, Shonda Rhimes show on ABC. It's a different net, or like East New York on CBS. It's all these different networks have a different fan base for a reason. One might have more relationship stuff, one might be more procedural. And so that's how it is, I think, with wrestling too. AEW is a much more match driven company, while WWE is more entertainment driven. Both of them, I believe, should all be storytelling driven, because as human beings, we all connect the stories. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling, TikTok, sitting by the fire. It's country music. So I think that is important. But if WWE wants the relationships and the fluff and the entertainment, AEW is match driven. But we still need stories, and I believe that's what is my strength, is storytelling and really thinking about all those small things and connecting to people.
One of the biggest things that has grown over the last year is what you're doing with cjperry.com. I feel like that could be the whole business for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Subscribe to cjperry.com. I just launched a new tier called Hot and Flexible.
I love how much you're leaning into hot and flexible. This is a nod to The Rock and that promo you did with him backstage, right?
Oh, yeah. So I think that Miro named me hot and flexible because he was so annoyed that I was so, like, I guess, exploited in WWE. And I don't really look at it that way. I look at it as more of like, I'm thankful for the opportunity, and, thankful that, yeah. And apparently I was believable to be someone's girlfriend, someone's wife, someone's ex-wife, the adulteress, the revengeful person. And it's TV, it's television, and so it has to be believable. So because of that, and I was always stirring the pot of being the bad guy, the heel in men's storylines, the only way that they felt creative that they could pay off getting, like, punching me in the face, because they couldn't punch me in the face, was basically calling me like a streetwalker, like The Rock called me, or an escort, or all the flexible things that I did with The Rock.
You did the Wisconsin wheelbarrow, right?
Oh yeah, that. I mean, I never said I did it, so he's just claiming that he did that. So I'm glad that he feels like he needs my clout. I'm really thankful for that. Really thankful that The Rock needed my clout for my flexibleness, and so that's cool. That's always encouraging. So Miro just was like, "You're hot and flexible," and I guess I am. So I'm just running with it.
So on cjperry.com, there's two tiers, right? $19.99. And then, so what do you get for $19.99?
Okay, so $19.99 is cjperry.com, and it's my army, and I love you guys so much. You just get a lot of content. I guess you could compare it to subscription. You could compare it to OnlyFans. A lot of like sexier posts that I don't feel like is appropriate to post on Instagram, because I do have a lot of children fans. I have a lot of Christian, Muslim, Jewish fans, religious people. And I just want to be really mindful of that and respectful of that, to the men that don't want to look at that, to the mothers and children. So that's why there's cjperry.com, where there's unlimited amounts of lingerie and,
How safe for work are these images?
Well, I'm not. Whoa, those are like really intense questions to act. Safe for work, like what country are we talking about?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. It depends where you work too.
Is that literally?
Who knows?
Literally. So the next one, the hot and flexible tier,
Yes.
is definitely
How hot, how flexible?
it's very hot and it's very flexible. So definitely subscribe. You get a lot of really cool. I personally think it's way good for your money, because one, you get DMs at, I want to say $2, so super cheap. You also get all the BTS and inside scoop from AEW. So now that I'm back on AEW, I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff on there. I've already been putting stuff on there. A lot of girls in the locker room want to be on the site too, and it's just a lot of fun. So subscribe. There's also, I do once a month Zoom, which is really exciting, with everyone on that tier. I'm doing one today. So that's a really cool thing. And also we're going to be doing a sale where people are going to get an item, a signed item. So that's a limited thing. So definitely subscribe, but it's going to be, you either get a trading card signed or an 8x10 or possibly an action figure or merchandise. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
It sounds like access, right? This is access, because 10, 20 plus years ago, if you wanted access to your favorite wrestler, you maybe could write them a fan mail letter and maybe they'd read it, possibly tiny little percentage, maybe they'd respond. Here, you're able to interact with fans in real time.
Yeah, it's great. It's so amazing to be able to have that direct to consumer. Is that the word?
Sure. Yeah.
And also just like being able to just hear immediately what the fans and followers want and connect. And there's just, the wrestling world and fan base is amazing. They're so committed. They're so passionate and loyal. And I feel so blessed to have saved so much stuff over the years, like couple rooms of stuff. So now I'm like, since I've been so supported by so many amazing fans, and I just love my hot and flexible people, that I can give back to them as well,
With everything we've talked about here, I feel like you were destined to be in the spotlight. So when you were growing up, what was it that you dreamed to do as a kid?
I always wanted to entertain stadiums. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I always wanted to perform. I always wanted to be a storyteller, and I wanted to do it in front of stadiums. And yeah, I just never put my dreams in a box. And dance was my first thing that, like, I love dancing. It's still like my love of my life. And it opened so many opportunities. I mean, I really do believe that it got me my job with WWE. I was speaking Russian and I said I could break dance, and I break danced in front of Triple H. So, it has led me to many things, and it's wild. Yeah. Like, now I'm excited to be doing more things on the other side of the camera as well. And if it's producing, managing, I love storytelling, and I really do love the live aspect of everything. And that's the one thing I will say traditional television and film doesn't have, and wrestling does have. It is that live aspect, that energy, and you feel it. Like, that's why I would go to shows last year just as a fan to watch, because I'm like, this energy, I love it. I love it. I love professional wrestling.
Do you remember how you found wrestling, or maybe how wrestling found you?
Oh yeah, wrestling definitely found me, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, I do remember. I was 22 years old. So I was young here and there watching it with my girlfriend's brothers. And my dad really liked Hogan, but we weren't allowed to watch. My parents are really strict and very conservative. So we weren't allowed to watch.
I wasn't allowed to watch either.
So you get it.
And look at us now.
Yeah. So, and then when I was 22, I did this calendar that I was on the cover, and I was the poster in the middle, and WWE sought me out. So I was still in college. They flew me down to Miami. They tried to recruit me, and I felt like I wanted to finish college, and there were still some dreams in dance that I really wanted to do, that I wanted to close that chapter. And yeah, then it was just every year I would get auditions. I was out in LA, it would conflict. Every year in the fall, they would do these big auditions, and it would always conflict because I would be on other jobs. I would be like on a Nickelodeon job or a Pitch Perfect job, and just didn't work. And then 2012, again, it was a 6-month call back, and here we are.
Isn't it so interesting how life has a way of working out? Like if you had gone to that first audition and you didn't have other things that were getting in the way, maybe you wouldn't have had the run in WWE that you had. Maybe you wouldn't be in AEW now.
Oh, I think about that all the time because I'm like, I do feel like I was very much there, 2007, 8, that was when like Barbie, Kelly came in, the Bellas, and I feel, we were all similar. I was a little bit younger, but similar. And I'm just like, wow, I mean, who knows what type of different path I would have had, or would it have still ended up with Miro at some point? You never know. That's the whole concept of parallel universes.
I mean, if it wasn't for the timing there, you wouldn't have met your husband.
Yeah, totally.
Well,
Totally.
take us to the first day that you met Miro.
So my first day I met Miro, I don't remember, and he does. So that's like and it was at NXT. It was my first day at his first day at NXT too, is when it opened. So we just hit our 10-year mark in July. And so that was cool. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I remember him at the tanning salon the following day. And I went into the tanning salon and all the wrestlers were going there. And he's clearly a big guy. And I'm like, oh, are you a wrestler? And he's like, what? Why do you think that? And I'm like, because you're a big guy and we're all coming here. He's like, maybe. And I'm like, where are you from? Russia? And he's like, no, Bulgaria. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then we started talking. I grew up in Latvia. I had been to Bulgaria. And then the following day, Dusty Rhodes saw my promo. I spoke Russian in it, and he pulled me aside. And he goes, I want you to work with Rusev. I was like, who's that? Oh, I know him. And then we started working together the following day.
So how does it go from working together to going on your first date?
Well, I think he was in love with me from day one.
Can you blame him?
But he says I was in love with him from day one. Not true.
Mm.
But no, he was really nice to me from day one. And so I really like that. And the Eastern European thing. And he's just a really nice guy. And so yeah, we were just working together constantly every day. And maybe like 6 weeks in, I started to have a crush. I was like, no, I can't do this. And then I don't know, one day we kissed and that was that.
And look at you guys now. 10 years. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Do you think about what might have happened if everything took off with the girl band that you were in? Was it called No Beans Yes?
Yeah, No Beans Yes.
Yes. But like that could have been a thing, right?
All those things in my life, I learned something that then carried me to the next job. Like the girl group really I didn't know how to sing really, so it taught me how to at least carry a melody and kind of sing. So that's how I got.
How are you in a girl group if you don't know how to sing?
I could break dance, and they're like, oh, okay, you can carry a melody. Usually those groups, not everyone is the lead singer, and so they had the lead singers, and they really wanted like a entertainer, and so they're like, oh my god, this girl like break dances and heels, and I had the look. I mean, so much of this industry is a look. It's 50% of it. You have to, and what I mean by a look, it's not like, oh yeah, be blonde hair. It's just having something that's so like something marketable. And so, yeah, that's 50% of it. I see it all the time. Even when we're watching tapes, like of auditions, it's like that person is a better actor, but this person is literally this person. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be better for this job. And so it's so much of it like that.
I remember a director telling me that during auditions, they already have in mind what they're looking for. And the thing that would shock them is to have someone come in and do the script or look a different way than what they had in their mind, which would then make them go, maybe I should rework this or something like that. But you're right. They already have an idea in their mind of what they're looking for.
Oh, for sure. I see that too a lot. Like I'll see something that like we'll watch tapes and we'll be like, okay, this person is literally the breakdown and is doing a great job. And this person is not the breakdown, but their acting is amazing. And this person is not the breakdown at all, but their acting is so phenomenal. Maybe we should rethink about switching the breakdown because they're just so compelling. And so that's what's like, it's just interesting. It's very interesting. I really encourage all performers in front of the camera that like take a month and try to produce things, and you're going to start to look at things differently.
From your acting career, you're like an Easter egg in a lot of things. Like I think people know Pitch Perfect 1 and 2, but like there's so many other things, and you're a backup dancer for so many huge acts. You were in music videos. What's some Easter eggs that when this interview's done, people can go on YouTube and they can find CJ Perry doing something in the background?
There's a lot of Easter eggs for me. I guess I think my role in life is to be great supporting. And that's another thing that's a lot of people don't like entertainers. Again, it's like not everyone is the leading person, and that's okay. But Easter eggs. Okay, so a really cool thing was I was in the Afrojack video, and it came out in 2010, and it's called Takeover Control, and it went crazy. It was like I booked the job. I don't even know how I booked it because I was like hungover, and there was so
meant to
many.
be.
It was meant to be, and then
You
I
were
got
the breakdown.
it's great. That's what the director told me. And so that's really cool. So go look at Afrojack Takeover Control, and you're gonna see baby CJ in there dancing. You'll know the song. And that was cool because I would get messages from like friends in Australia, and they're like, you're literally on our gym screen right now. So that was cool. Also, I think making global news one time doing a Russian promo was kind of funny. And making the Daily Show of Jon Stewart call like basically global news also everywhere. Because I said that I was unhappy that you're blaming Russia for the current events. And it was when like the Malaysia plane. I don't appreciate it at all. And I made the world news everywhere. Australia. So that was fun. Yeah, I don't
What
know.
movies are people gonna find you in if they're looking really hard?
Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. I don't know. So honestly, I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. I was a Red Bull girl for a long time, and I would do the Formula One. I was a Miller Lite poster girl. So I was like on all the Miller Lite posters, just like things like that. I'll forget. Yeah. Like now the Be a Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Thing and like all these different brand deal, like I was doing it like a long time ago. And it's just funny to me to see so many things like really blow up. It's really cool.
Is it true you're in American Hustle? It says you were uncredited in that film.
I don't think so.
The Christian Bale movie. Oh, this is great.
I uncredited in that. I never was in that movie. They must
Well, I guess there's somebody that looks like you doing something in that movie.
No, I was not. I mean, some funny things was like I was on $1 Million Matchmaker, the like first season before it became the huge show.
Yeah, yeah.
Same thing, like everyone's texting my mom, like, is she dating a millionaire? And it was like that it was 6 months before I forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, I needed $500 or something. I did Surreal Life, which was fun.
Of course, Total Divas.
Total Divas, 3 seasons, which was fun. 2 weddings, 1 husband, which was fun.
What's interesting about Total Divas is there's people that are just Total Divas fans that have never watched wrestling ever.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I really hope we like wrestling in both companies, AEW and WWE, they bring back some reality shows like that because it really brought a lot of women to watch it, which I think is really important. Really important. Yeah, I did Dropping the Mic. I won it, which was crazy. Scooby-Doo. I was a voice on there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. How long were you into your WWE career when you were sharing a ring with The Rock during that promo?
Oh, which one? The one that he called me a streetwalker, or
I guess the first one.
the first one? Just like 6 months, maybe.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
It really is. I learned so much. He's so amazing. Yeah, he's great. He's great. We learned a lot. We were very fortunate to be able to be in the ring with some really iconic people to learn from, like The Rock and John Cena, and Jericho. It's exciting to have Edge now over at AEW. Hopefully we get to work with him too. Oh, I was gonna move with Edge. I forgot about that.
Yeah. How do you keep a straight face when The Rock's there saying that, your husband smells like rotten testicles?
I think I didn't keep a straight face. I think if you look really hard at that YouTube vlog, not the vlog, but the YouTube of us with The Rock, like at one point, like I think you could see me crack because I was just like, this is so funny. And he's so funny. That was such a fun time.
What was the conversation before that segment with The Rock? Like, how did you guys go over everything that was going to happen?
Oh yeah, that was really funny. So we get a promo like in the middle of the day. We were working Big Show at the time, and this is when Miro was undefeated. And he was a hero of the Russian Federation. So they give us this promo. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it just didn't make a lot of sense. And they're like, look, at 7:15, meet us back by this door and this bus, and you're gonna know what happens here. Like, okay. So I'm learning it. We go back there. And then they open the door and it's Dwayne in there. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, scratch that promo. So we had 45 minutes. It was maybe an hour we had to learn the whole new thing, but it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Did he do anything, say anything that like particularly puts you at ease?
I don't know if ease is the right word they use. Nah, I don't think so. Nothing put me at ease. I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And I was really excited.
And now, as a result of, I guess, that second interaction with The Rock, flexible, you're hot and flexible.
I mean, this is the thing I've realized. If people are going to call you names, you might as well just call it to yourself first. And then I take away all their power.
And now well, not even taking away the power. Now you've branded this and now you're making money off of it.
So thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, DJ.
When Miro got released in WWE, were you like, oh my gosh, I've got to be next? Like I think people saw you guys as a package.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't like, oh my gosh, I got to be next, for sure not. And now maybe looking back, maybe I should have been. But that's what life is all about, is about learning, and I think we're both a lot happier working for the same company. We weren't very happy. It's just not, yeah, we worked to get, like, everything that you just said is like, we feel that too. So, yeah, it wasn't the funnest time for me that following year, but we're here now. So that's all that matters.
Well, now you get to travel to the events together. You get to work together, come home together. I don't feel like it get any
doesn't
better.
live with me right now. He's renting a room from me right now. That's what he wants everyone to know. Yeah. That he is on his righteous path of destruction, and he is renting a room from me. And actually, sometimes it likes to be in other houses because he says I'm temptation. So he's going on his path, and I'm on my path right now.
Where did he go wrong?
I mean, the thing about Miro is he's very stubborn. Like, apparently I'm always drawn to very stubborn people. So like Liv Morgan and Miro are by far the most stubborn people I've ever met in my life. And of course, they're like my husband and my best friend. So it has to be all on his terms. And right now he is on his path. And apparently he's not happy that I'm on my own path looking for my new clients, but he knows I'm stubborn too. So that's where we're at.
Do you think
I'm the big champions? I'm going to be making champions. So
that's what you do.
Period and a purr.
Do you think this path that you're on in AEW is going to have you back in the ring? Do you want to wrestle again?
That's such an interesting question. So I want to be the best of all time. I want to be the best wrestling manager of all time. I want to be, when people think of like, people often want to be managed by Paul Heyman because he is the best manager of all time right now, right? Yeah. I want to take that spot. And so I want people to be like, I want CJ Perry to manage me. I would rather do that than try to become champion or fight whatever for championships and be the best hustler for those people to be champions and create a legacy and a name that way. I just feel that's my calling. So if at some point I gotta like fight some bitches in the ring, of course I'll fight some bitches in the ring.
The great thing about being a manager is there's no expiry date on it. When you're a wrestler, you can only wrestle until your body won't let you wrestle anymore. You could manage for the next 50 years.
Well, exactly. And I think that's the part of like really facing the music that I'm glad that I've faced it sooner than later. But I think for all performers, they just want to keep going and you have to know when to bow out. And also, I just feel a lot better fighting for other people than myself. And
Yeah.
yeah.
How does one maintain flexibility, like the flexibility that you have?
Um, that's also why I like to be called the hot and flexible, is because I'm redefining in everyone's brains what flexible actually literally means. And so, yeah, obviously I'm flexible. I can like do all the splits, but also, being fluid, being flexible in life, and life is going to throw us a lot of things. And can we like maneuver it and be a chameleon? And I feel like I'm great at that. I try to read people. I try to read the room and, you know, navigate from there. So that's how I'm flexible.
I feel like there was a real missed opportunity with Rusev Day. Like there was so much hype behind it, so much excitement, and nothing really happened. There was no real payoff there. Do you feel like there was a missed opportunity?
I mean, I just like going back and rehashing what could have been is just like pointless. Like people do that all the time in wrestling, and people do that in the industry too, and like Hollywood. And really, it's all the same, like all the same. So I find it maybe a little bit easier for myself to be fluid and go with the flow with it. But look, we're literally not saving lives. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're entertainers and telling stories and giving people hopefully a couple hours of an outlet from, their troubles really. So yeah, I forgot what the question was.
Yeah, I know you're right. I think there's a lot of like revisionist history that
Yeah, it's just like
it doesn't matter.
what are we gonna look at? Like, yeah, like are we gonna be grateful for what was, or are we gonna be look at it, the cup as like what could have been? I mean, that's not, I don't like to live life like that. I know I should have been champion 25 times over in WWE and Miro too. Like, that's, you're always going to be negative, always going to be. And so I'm going to choose to be thankful for all the opportunities that I was given and was able to create versus all the things I wasn't given. And I think I encourage my husband and all my friends to do the same. If not, you're going to be really unhappy in this business.
I love that you brought up gratitude because that's such an important part of my life. And look, I just want to say thank you. You're awesome, CJ. And I super appreciate this chat here.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you had me. I appreciate you.
I end every conversation talking about gratitude. I start every day. I end every day. I say out loud 3 things I'm grateful for. What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for right now?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I'm very grateful for my 3 dogs that are over there.
Oh my gosh, look at them.
You can't even see.
We've got Joy, Pickles, and who's the other one?
Charlie.
Oh my gosh.
Pickles is looking up right now, her head, and then the blonde is Charlie and Joy is the brown one. So definitely them. They bring me so much joy. I'm very thankful that I'm on this podcast with you right now. And we're having this wonderful conversation and connecting. And I'm very thankful that I've returned to wrestling and I'm going to be managing iconic talent and become the best wrestling manager ever.
I think that a lot of wrestling fans are glad that you're back. So again, we talked about it earlier. Everybody go subscribe at cjperry.com. Oh, what else should the people be doing?
Definitely watching me on Collision at AEW on TNT every Saturday. And you never know, I might end up being on Dynamite and Rampage on Wednesday and Friday. I am scouting talent. I'm really excited. So you can also subscribe to cjperry.com and put your application in so I can review it if you want me to manage you. I am out. Yes, this is shoot too. Like I'm shoot, like great thing about wrestling is when the shoot and kayfabe start to blur.
That's actually a great idea. Like for any independent wrestler out there, this is $20 well spent.
Oh, totally, totally. And I, at the very least, will give you like talk to you about how like be a life coach. And we all need them.
Wonder how many people are actually going to take you up on this offer.
I mean, I would love that. I'm actually going to get certified by Jay Shetty. I don't know if you're familiar with
Of course, I know Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty, and I'm going to get my life certificate. I mean, life coach certificate.
You should be on purpose.
Oh my God, I would love it. I would love that.
We need to make this happen.
Manifesting. What are 3 things you're grateful for?
Oh my gosh. Well, I recently became a father. So super grateful for my daughter, Logan, and that she's healthy. Grateful for my wife. She's amazing. And grateful for my health. Without health, you've got nothing else.
Yeah, it's so true. So
Yeah.
true.
And thank you for, flipping that back on me.
Yes.
All right, CJ, appreciate you so much. Thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun with you.
Me too.
We'll talk soon.